All right, this is the final round of the R.B.E.T tournament I was in. This is where I finally lost. You're going to see it's a little embarrassing. I was pretty tired. I had no breaks the entire time. Uh, so here, we don't really have any gas. There's nothing I could do. I had a very specific game plan, which was this is going to die or not die, and then I get to use these two Pot of Avarice. And it was for sure going to happen with Giant Trunade. So I was like, okay, this is good. We can sit on this. The the thing I don't like about Giant Trunade, I mean, obviously you need to have Heavy or Trunade. You could run both. The guy who won Worlds with Frog FTK way back in the day, he played both, and that was like the unusual thing. The best thing about running it is in slow hands. It basically guarantees a slow hand, but it nearly guarantees victory in those slow hands. Here you'll see that it doesn't. Yeah. So I have the slow hand, and I should be able to just go ahead and Trunade everything and slam the Subsitoad and send everything back to the grave and Pot of Avarice to just refuel my stuff, and hopefully I draw into something relevant. The wise thing to do would have been to have the Subsitoad out, and once I Pot of Avarice everything away twice, then just make sure I keep at least one Dupe Frog in the deck, so that if that whiffs, I'll be able to Poison Toad and just do like a soft dupe block against him. You can see that he would have been able to answer it, but it would have been worth the risk. But for some reason, I just passed turn. That was really silly. And he gets to stop me from doing anything relevant after that. I guess in my mind, I was thinking that like this salvage was going to go live, that like, oh, it doesn't matter, he's going to kill this. It gives me more time because this Trunade's going to resolve. He's not going to OTK me. And then, once I have this, I'll have a Swap Frog, and I can do the exact same thing. But I'll have one more top deck, and maybe I'll be able to Colossal Fighter Armory Arm combo him. I do know, like, I was flustered because the round before, I got called out for cheating for the entire time with the Gashilnodons. And here in game one, I do have Death Frog in my deck, but it's in my side, not in my main. So I actually don't know how to combo, really at all, without being vulnerable to something like Heavy Storm, which, hey, he actually had. So I guess if I had gone for it, I wouldn't be able to go infinite. I would have really, really dug and had a stable board, but it wouldn't have had a Stardust. So I mean, I guess it would have answered the Caius play, but that's beside the point. Yeah. So in my mind, I was like, okay, well, let's just wait till he summons a monster, and I'll just do the Colossal Fighter Armory Arm. The more cards I draw, the longer I can stall. I can just Colossal Fighter Armory Arm him, and that'll be game one. Worst case, game 2 and 3, I'll have my Death Frog. I can do the combos the way I'm comfortable. But yeah, he disguises my stuff, and I just draw dead. I couldn't Exodius because I didn't have any way to get any monster in the grave. And then, yeah, he has a pretty aggressive draw that is able to kill me. So that was sad. It's a throw, but yeah, I was tilted. Opening 1/1 is really good. You get to send everything. Hey, there's that magic Death Frog I love so much now. Pretty good hand. We're able to cycle. We hope we draw an extender. Because I had double Moray of Greed, I had to discard one, unfortunately, but I was able to get 2 swaps to send them back. And hey, we drew another extender with plus card advantage, which is insanely good. Thunder Dragon and Exodius are best friends. So we get to keep drawing because we put all the swaps back. So now we're feeling real comfy. And this is good because everyone just watched me, spill spaghetti all over the floor on that match where everyone was watching, and now it's like, hey, this is what the deck's supposed to do. I can do it fast. I can do it well. Beautiful extension with the Ghetto Pot of Avarice, and look at all this stuff. We have so much going on. So we get to do everything we want in this game. I think this one, if I remember correctly, his response, his attempt to answer my board was pretty comical. But yeah, get to we use the first Exodius. Almost always use the first Exodius to send everything back, just like a full reset. Almost all those frogs that went back from the deck to the grave go back to the grave. We had the full accordion with the poison draws and the swap frogs. It's great to draw on Avarice. Like it would have kind of sucked to have to use the Exodius here. I end up having to use it because here at the end, I draw down to 1 card. Like drawing that kind of sucked. but I go down to one card, and here I go the 50-50 with my poison draw. I guess not right here, but once I'm down to 2 cards, there's a Substoad in my deck and an Exodius in my deck. And I lost the 50-50. See, I drew the Substoad. So that's an Exodius, the last card, and I was out of gas. So I have to use this this Exodius has to stay here and live. So it would have been correct to put it in defense position. But I guess I was just already flustered or exhausted. I'd been playing all day. Like 10 hours or something. So here we send everything back, and we're going to have to do the dupe block stuff. Luckily, we get to make a Stardust. We just don't get the flip-flop frog. So it's a really, really easy Stardust. It costs way fewer cards. Dupe block, boom. So we get to bluff. One of these is Imperial Iron Wall, one isn't. So what is he doing? He's just doing aggressive stuff. He knows, because people finally learned. I guess it might be common knowledge at some point soon, but you can't just slam a Caius. One of my favorite things about this board is, in my mind, people were going to try to answer this board just by slamming Caius. Brain Control Caius or something like an Infernal Prodigy Caius. It's just really, really good to just have an Imperial Iron Wall because you already used all your normal summon. You're out of gas. And yeah, see, he can't do a lot of things he wants to do. He can't use his Miracle Fusion because this Imperial Iron Wall is back here. So that's nice. I'm pretty sure he does some silly stuff. So he goes pretty hard minus to Brionac. And he hits the right thing, but it also doesn't really matter because the finality of my combo was right. Yeah, so he had an answer. He used Phoenix Wingwind Blast to get rid of my Exodius forever, and I don't have one. So I'm actually here on like control plays. But there was no need to go infinite here. If I went infinite, then the end result would have been he had no cards in hand, and he did that to himself already. So I'm actually just kind of cruising. We just run over his stuff because now he has actually 0 cards. And then I think we go back to a flip-flop frog because I never got to do it. I shouldn't have attacked. I should put this in defense. Yeah, and that's cheating. I actually didn't attack, so this is 100 damage that isn't taken. But, I mean, it's not like I win by 100 damage. It doesn't matter. I would have won exactly. That's funny. All right, so that was game 2. That was great. That was a really good showing. Really happy with that, especially with that really big blunder before. So this hand is complete garbage, and his hand is very, very good. Feature Fusion is almost an FTK in and of itself. You get your little fuel, and he didn't have to whiff like the guy earlier who had to send a diva. And then his other cards are Trap Dust Shoot, so he has like the one card FTKs basically of Edison, and against my weak hand. So this just wasn't looking good to begin with. Top deck and Substoad, that sucks. That actually would have maybe got me somewhere. I would have used the Substoad to play slow. And it doesn't matter if you play slow because he has back row, right? But I would have been able to Substoad, get a Swap Frog, send something, probably another Substoad, and then salvage. And now I have a bunch of Substoads. I guess it probably would have been wise to maybe send a Treeborn, but who knows? I didn't get to do it. And then I had the Fishborg with the swap. So it's like I would have been able to combo off. This was useless. So he would have been able to interrupt me with Phoenix Wind Blast. But that doesn't actually get rid of the Substoad. That would just put it on top, so I'd just be able to do it again next turn. So if he didn't have the Dust Shoot, I think I had it. Yeah, well, that's crazy. And that's not very useful. We had to dig. Yeah, sometimes you just have to do it. And then he had a really aggressive draw. It's not enough, but yeah, here we're just hoping and praying. And like, it's funny because I said like I have nothing, but that would have been a pretty good bluff if I sided in Mirror Force, which I've had Mirror Force on my side before. I think it's pretty good because it's such a big gotcha. Like, you're prepared for so many things. For me, it's like, okay, if you can break my dupe block, then all the monsters you committed are dead now. So I think it's just a really good idea to side in. And like here, I could have been like, yeah, you got it. And then he could have fished. He could have got rid of the maybe Mirror Force, but he took my sincerity as authentic, and it could have cost him, but yeah, that cost me. So that one, there's nothing you can do really. Having both Feature Fusion for that crazy acceleration, it didn't buy me any turns. Maybe an extra turn could have got me there, but the Trap Dust Shoot, there's only so much. Combo's never been able to handle it. That's basically it. So that game 1 was pretty bad. I had to jump right into it, just like every single match. So it's not the end of the world. I'm really glad with how the tournament went, and yeah, thanks for watching.